Here are 7 retro cartoons that should definitely get a reboot. This is Nerdist Now. It's 2021, and we can all agree that nostalgia is a prison of comfort we trap ourselves in to hide from the real world. But that craving for Saturday morning cartoons has given us some really great and engaging television and movies the past few years. We've gotten She-Ra, Voltron, Thundercats, DuckTales, the regular rebooting of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that happens every few years, and the new He-Man series that just dropped on Netflix. But there's a whole pantheon of forgotten cartoons that could be rebooted into something greater than it was. Cartoons that could be more than just 21-minute commercials. I'm looking at you, Beyblade. We've finally crossed the threshold to the point where the 90s have also become retro. And if you felt a chill run through your body after hearing that, just embrace it and disassociate with this video. Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. After the meme factory that was the 1960s Spider-Man cartoon, and before the 1990s Spidey cartoon, there was Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. The show focused on Spider-Man sharing an apartment/secret headquarters with Iceman from the X-Men and the rarely remembered Firestar. The series was pretty much a villain of the week style show, with very low tier villains attacking New York in one way or another, who would then be burned, frozen, and/or webbed. Now take that and turn it into an action comedy about 3 young superheroes trying to navigate their way through life, relationships, and supervillains while also making enough money to afford a 3-bedroom apartment in New York. And you've got yourself a show that could really hit on a bunch of levels. And this is post-college Spider-Man, so we don't need to see Uncle Ben die for the dozenth time. M.A.S.K! As far as 80s toys that became cartoons that became massive franchises go, Transformers easily owns that throne. But there was a fervent army of diehards that fought tooth and nail for the French counterpart, M.A.S.K. Or Mobile Armored Strike Command, if you've got a lot of time on your hands. Matt Tracker and his task force operate transforming armored vehicles to rescue citizens and battle the criminal organization Venom, or Vicious Evil Network of Mayhem. They're not just evil, they're vicious and evil. There's obviously a lot of room for adventures and cool transforming stuff, but one thing we would love is more clarity on the theme song. Masked crusaders working overtime fighting crime. Sure, love it. But secret raiders who will neutralize as soon as they arrive on the site? Like, which is it? Why are they working all this overtime if it's apparently an instantaneous victory for them when they get there? Also, you know what? Never mind. It'd just be a good updated cartoon. Turbo Teen! Remember the Where Car episode of Futurama? This is like that, but serious. No joke. The only reason the show is on this list is because we want to see a 3D animated version of this.
Causing me and my car to become one.
People sit inside him! You're not gonna watch it? You're not gonna watch it? You're gonna watch it. Brave Star. How Brave Star hasn't been turned into an updated gritty space western is beyond me. You've got a Native American space sheriff and his robotic horse fighting against the worst vandals and black hats of the universe, while trying to keep an orbiting mining planet safe. You've basically got cosmic Deadwood right there, waiting to be made. You've got vagrants with names like Tex Hex and Thunderstick, and plenty of aliens with old-timey facial hair. What's not to love? And in season 3, yes there will be 3 seasons, you can go over to Space London and do a Peaky Blinders kind of crossover with Sherlock Holmes. That's a thing they actually did in Brave Star originally, except instead of Dr. Watson, it was an anthropomorphic fish person named Dr. Wetson. Let's keep that bit, please. I need more Dr. Wetson in my life. Jem and the Holograms. This is one you'd think would be next in line to get a new series, but surprisingly, no. Possibly due to the live-action movie flopping in 2015, Jem and the gang have been deprived of a reboot, and it totally is the perfect time for it to happen. A music-heavy cartoon about the dramatic world of dueling rock bands and non-lethal robots would be such a fun time, especially in the renaissance of cartoons with incredible original music like Steven Universe and Bob's Burgers. There's so much to work with on every level, from music to aesthetics to whatever era it's set in. It's genuinely surprising it hasn't happened yet. Maybe cartoon studios are worried about tackling something so truly outrageous, but to that we say, stop being cowards! Sci-fi rock band, give it, me, now, Mighty Max. Most of the shows we've talked about so far were made specifically to sell toys, thanks Ronald Reagan, but a couple of them transcended mere consumerism to be something far greater. Back in the 90s, there was a toy called Polly Pocket. They were these little play sets for Wait, first this. Toys used to be specifically gendered. because the past was a mistake. Anyway, Polly Pockets were compacts that would open up into tiny little playsets of like houses and princess castles and stuff. The boy version of that was Mighty M.A.S.K, but instead of just football fields and, I don't know, mechanic garages, they were like horror and sci-fi themed with haunted houses and vampires and crap, and they were super awesome. And the cartoon of Mighty M.A.S.K played right into that with monsters and zombies and stuff aplenty. Max is the mystical cap bearer, and his magical monogrammed baseball hat opened portals all over the world. The fact that the Mighty M.A.S.K series had lore coming out of its eyeballs, his giant bodyguard Norman was apparently every hero from history like Hercules, Sir Lancelot, and Little John from Robin Hood, and that it only lasted 40 episodes means it's perfect for Reboot City. Exo Squad. One of the most ambitious cartoons of its time, Exo Squad was made specifically to be an American anime, a sprawling space opera with complex socio-political themes and deep, complicated relationships. In the far future, a race of synthetic humanoids called the Neo-Sapiens, bred as slave labor for humanity's growing space empire, want rights of their own, and when the humans won't give it freely, they exploit an attack from an armada of space pirates to take over cities on Venus, Earth, and Mars. The surviving strike teams take off in conveniently toyetic power loaders called E-frames to try to free humanity from the Neo-Sapiens, despite being absolutely 100% at fault. Exo Squad was a bit too heady for the early 90s and ended on a cliffhanger after its initial 2-season run. There's enough great characters, action, and story left to be told across the various battles for and against humanity that we'd love to see it make a daring comeback. And there you have it, 7 nostalgic cartoons that we hope against hope get a reboot one of these days. But what do you think? What cartoons from the 80s and 90s could use an update? Did you ever have nightmares about Turbo Teen's face? I did. Let us know in the comments below, and for more stuff that's fun and cool, stay tuned to Nerdist.com.